Discovering your true potential through the philosophy of Carl Jung. In life, whenever we face critical decisions, whether it's choosing a career path, navigating a personal crisis, or coping with loss, understanding ourselves becomes essential. True self-awareness allows us to uncover our real potential, the ability to do something exceptionally well with minimal effort. This discovery is deeply connected to finding your true calling, and that, according to Carl Jung, requires embarking on the transformative process of individuation. Individuation is the integration of unconscious elements into our conscious personality, an essential step toward becoming whole. Carl Jung, one of the founding figures of psychoanalysis, introduced this profound concept as part of his broader contribution to psychology, anthropology, philosophy, religious studies, and literature. Jung's break from Freud led him to create analytical psychology, a school of thought focused on the present moment, mythology, folklore, and the inner workings of the human psyche. At the heart of Jungian philosophy lies the belief that realizing one's potential involves deep introspection, inner integration, and psychological wholeness. Below are 3 powerful lessons drawn from Jung's philosophy to help you align with your authentic self and unlock your potential. 1. Don't let others define you. The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you. Carl Jung. From birth, we are conditioned to mimic others, parents, teachers, peers, often before we even realize it. If your sense of self is underdeveloped, you're more likely to conform to others' expectations rather than living according to your own truth. Over time, this leads to resentment, bitterness, and regret for not living authentically. Jung challenged Freud's idea that psychological issues are rooted solely in childhood trauma. He believed our internal struggles could stem from future aspirations and our perceived self-image as much as from past experiences. When we lack a realistic and empowering vision of who we are and what we want to become, we grow vulnerable to external pressure and psychological distress. To resist the world's tendency to define us, we must strengthen our inner voice. Instead of pretending to be someone you're not, such as forcing extroversion if you're inherently introverted, embrace your natural tendencies. Begin with introspection. What do you value? Freedom or security, competition or cooperation, adventure or routine? Invest time in shaping your voice, style, and purpose. No matter your age, it's never too late to live a life that reflects your true identity. 2. Understand and embrace your passions. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Carl Jung. Jung understood that confronting our inner darkness, our repressed emotions and desires, is critical for healing and growth. Passions are often buried beneath fear, shame, or societal expectations. These can include desires that feel taboo, emotionally overwhelming, or incompatible with how we want to be perceived. Avoidance of these emotions only amplifies their influence, leading to anxiety and passive behaviors such as withdrawal or apathy. For example, someone may have a hidden passion for public speaking, but repress it due to a childhood memory of ridicule. Such repression stunts personal development and prevents us from realizing our full potential. Jung recommended confronting these repressed passions through tools like dream analysis, journaling, and self-forgiveness. These practices enable us to reconnect with the emotions that make us feel truly alive. Healing involves slowly confronting what scares you, then transforming it into a strength. In our earlier example, the individual could take a public speaking course and rediscover their talent, transforming fear into confidence. The key is to understand your emotions, not suppress them. Passion is often the gateway to purpose, and overcoming fear is part of the individuation process. 3. Focus on who you want to become. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Carl Jung. Although Jung introduced the concept of a collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of human memories and archetypes, he emphasized the power of conscious choice in shaping identity. Human development, in his view, is a process of consciously integrating unconscious material into a unified, mature self. We are often shaped by early psychological imprints, such as a fear of abandonment or craving for validation, but these should not dictate our future. Left unexamined, they can drive us into patterns that mirror past traumas. For instance, someone raised in a neglectful household may unconsciously choose partners who replicate that dysfunction, believing it to be familiar or inevitable. Jung advocated creating a vision of your future self and using reason and intention to guide your decisions. Rather than letting fear or instinct steer your life, define clear goals for who you want to become and build a life aligned with that vision. This process requires integrating the immature parts of the psyche, those rooted in fear or trauma, into a coherent and stable identity. In doing so, you become the architect of your own evolution, rather than a prisoner of your past. Transcending fear and the past, a Jungian path to self-realization. To avoid becoming a prisoner of your fears and past experiences, it is essential to invest time in introspection. Reflect on the events that shaped you, extract their lessons, and recognize that they do not define you. What truly defines you is the vision of the person you aspire to become. Once that vision is clear, commit to pursuing it deliberately. Letting go of addictions. Carl Jung once observed, "Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism." Addiction, whether physical or psychological, impairs our ability to engage with reality. Jung identified similarities between individuals addicted to substances and those consumed by idealism. Idealism, while seemingly noble, can become a subtle form of escapism. We often cling to idealized visions of life to avoid confronting painful truths. In doing so, we delay healing and hinder personal growth. To maintain psychological health, we must remain grounded in reality. If you're unhappy with your current circumstances, be it your health, career, or emotional well-being, do not numb the discomfort with distractions or illusions. Instead, confront the situation with courage. Craft a plan, apply yourself rigorously, and take concrete steps toward meaningful change. When you avoid reality through partial unconsciousness or romanticized ideals, you disconnect from your true self. You remain stuck, unable to envision or execute a plan for growth. Only by facing the present can you begin the transformative journey toward your potential. Radical honesty about your capabilities. Jung emphasized the importance of action over intention. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. In therapy, Jung could see through his patient's facades. Words and intentions mattered little when not aligned with real behavior. Individuation, the lifelong process of becoming your true self, requires congruence between inner ideals and outward actions. In early life, experimentation helps form the ego and social persona. But as one matures, particularly after midlife, the task becomes integration, aligning your outer life with your inner self. Practical self-assessment is crucial. If past behavior repeatedly led to failure, let those experiences guide your future actions. Avoid overpromising, especially in professional settings. People respect consistency and reliability more than ambition unsupported by delivery. Acknowledging your limits is not a weakness. It's a gateway to discovering where your true strengths lie. By focusing your energy on tasks that align with your natural abilities, you accelerate your progress and deepen your impact. Turning weaknesses into strengths. Jung wrote in Memories, Dreams, Reflections, "I regret many follies which sprang from my obstinacy, but without that trait, I would not have reached my goal." He recognized that traits often labeled as weaknesses, such as stubbornness, can become assets when channeled properly. Instead of fighting against your nature, explore how your perceived flaws might serve you in the right context. If you're criticized for being overly sensitive or imaginative, rather than forcing yourself to become practical, lean into your creative gifts. Perhaps there's a writer, painter, or musician within you waiting to emerge. The key is to direct your natural tendencies into arenas where they can flourish, rather than attempting to eliminate them altogether. Establishing a connection to the infinite. Jung posed a profound question. The decisive question for man is he related to something infinite or not? That is the telling question of his life. Though deeply scientific, Jung's work had spiritual dimensions. He believed that many psychological struggles stem from a lack of connection to something greater than oneself. This connection might be religious, spiritual, or philosophical. The form is less important than the function. It must provide a sense of meaning beyond one's individual existence. You might find this in faith, in contemplating the universe, in the continuity of human civilization, or in your children. Whatever form it takes, a relationship with the infinite adds depth, strength, and direction to your life's journey. It fuels your desire to grow, contribute, and live purposefully, creating space for deep reflection. In one of his most powerful insights, Jung noted, "You must be alone to find out what supports you when you find that you cannot support yourself." He viewed solitude not as a punishment, but as a path to healing and discovery. In solitude, you can truly hear your inner voice, discern your emotional needs, and identify what gives your life meaning. During times of difficulty, retreat into quiet reflection. Whether it's a walk by a lake or time spent journaling, these moments allow you to reconnect with what matters most. You may realize that fulfillment isn't tied to material success, but to alignment between your values and daily actions. Ask yourself, what brings you joy? If money were no concern, what would you pursue? The answers point toward your true nature and the life that would allow you to reach your full potential. Conclusion: realizing the self. Personal development is not a destination, but a continuous journey. Jung's teachings encourage us to face our fears, release escapist illusions, understand our true capacities, and align with something greater than ourselves. Solitude, honesty, acceptance, and purpose are the pillars upon which self-realization stands. As you reflect on Jung's wisdom, remember that the journey toward your full potential begins with self-awareness and unfolds through deliberate, courageous action.